tech element behind this particular movie. It's man and algorithm. Everything changed during the lockdown, and content consumption patterns changed. More importantly, how we really ordered food all the time and were largely apathetic to the real situation on the other end of the delivery app. So how much of this, the script writing process was actually influenced, Nandita, by the algorithm?
Firstly, it was born during COVID times when, the irony of stay home, stay safe, I think wasn't lost on us, because we were at home and we were still seeing these stories on television, in news about so many migrant workers trying to go back home. So much of joblessness had increased. People were doing far more menial work than what they deserved or what they were doing earlier. So there was all of this happening, and in some ways gig economy was seen as a bit of a savior. It was a new profession comparatively, and there were a lot of young people who were delivering things while we sat at home. And it was just I was just curious that what was their life? Because this was not a traditional workspace where you have colleagues and co-workers and a boss and you ask around and you complain about something. There was no contact. You were literally on your own with this one phone in your hand, and in a country that's largely, not so literate, grappling with rules changing on the phone, with new instructions, and, this ominous boss who's sort of invisible in some sense. Everything is on the phone. Who do you talk to? Who do you ask? Who is your colleague? So it was just sort of interesting that how these nameless, faceless people were just called Oi Swiggy, Oi Zomato, Oi Ola, whatever it might be. They were literally just these people. And I started talking to a few people. I also had a conversation with a publisher friend who was sharing an article about the growing unemployment. And that's how it was born. And it was meant to be a short film. I was going to do a 20-minute film as part of an anthology. And then that anthology didn't work out, and the producers, Applause Entertainment, they said, why don't you make it into a feature film? And that time I was scared that I'll have to study more about algorithms and ratings and incentives, something that I wouldn't understand. But, that's just on the surface. Finally, it's about human relationships. Over the years, if you see, the working class has just vanished from our popular narratives, from our collective consciousness as well. We have all sort of, gotten into a kind of a navel-gazing, and in some sense, while a lot of people say COVID has made us more empathetic, but the flip side is COVID has also made us more selfish in a way, because we are all sort of fighting for that little place. If the unemployment has increased, that's happened for a lot of people. So everyone's a little more insecure, a little more anxious. Then why are you going to think about people who are not even part of those narratives? You don't think about the other if they are not part of your conversation. It's easier to forget them. So the whole idea of this film was to make them visible. And it's not easy to have a theatrical release of these kind of films. People now go to theaters to watch a spectacle. 400 crore film, 500 crore film, with a lot of VFX, big stars, all that razzmatazz, that's fine. But who wants to really see a human story, a slice of life, a thing that you could watch on your phone or on an OTT? So human stories are really vanishing in a very conscious way. We think it's subconscious, but I think we are pushing aside. Newspapers have less pages of these. Our OTT, with all the content that is being created, working class or people who are less privileged are only seen when there's something sensational. If there is something very dramatic happening in an incident or whatever, then their stories are being told. But their regular life, how much do we really know about it? So it has been a little bit of a uphill task to first make it, then to release it. But the good thing is the people who have seen, those kind of responses are very, very moving.